Good afternoon, it's Monday and I'm finally going out for a walk at nearly 3:30. The reason is that I've got a headache, and the reason I've got a headache is because I've been doing a job today that I haven't done for many years, and I've been reminded why it is I don't do it, which is what you might call the creative side of narrative podcasting or narrative documentary making generally. So it's where you have to find all the bits and start assembling it into a story. Now, I always thought the creative part of any job would be the most fun part, but that hides a sad truth, and the truth is with these things there's always really short deadlines. So if you had forever to spend on this kind of process, it could be quite fun, but when you have 24 hours only, it's not fun at all. It's horrible. Imagine it's like putting a jigsaw together, but you don't have the original picture. All you have is a vague description of what it might look like, and then it's a 400 piece jigsaw that you're trying to assemble, probably 4,000 piece actually in reality, looking at my session. It's just not fun, because sometimes it just can't be the thing that you want it to be, and there isn't the pieces to make it into something nice, or they just don't work in the way that you'd hoped. And so all you're left with is just a stress of slowly assembling this blind project. What I like doing is letting somebody else do that part, and then coming in and making it shine, making it polished, finding ways of bringing it to life. But the first step, as it were, I suppose this is the second step. The first step is listening to everything and working out what you've got. The second step is shit. Terrible job. If you do this for a living, fair play to you, because I couldn't. I don't have the patience for it, and I don't find it enjoyable in any way.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're looking for someone to produce your podcast, don't ring me, because I'm not going to do it. And although I can probably tell you 10 people who could do a really good job of it, I'm none of those 10 people. If, however, you have a podcast and you have produced it and you think it's okay, but you want to make it great, then I can speak to you, because that's my skill set. Like, you've got to know your niche. And my niche is very much taking it to the next level, but not creating it in the first place. So it's just an honest assessment of my skills based on this morning's agony, I think. Hi there, happy Wednesday. I'm not even sure if I've actually filmed anything this week. I don't know if I have. It's not very much, so apologies. The last couple of weeks have been so busy and what have you that I haven't felt the need to pick up a camera, but that happens sometimes, so that's how it is. This week I've been working on a Red Bull podcast about Max Verstappen, which is kind of interesting. I mean, what I've been doing for these Red Bull podcasts up to now is just mastering and mixing them. This one I've had to do most of the legwork as well, not the research, which is arguably the hard bit, but all the layout and editorial stuff. So that's been a pain in the head, but it's mostly finished now, so I'm feeling a bit better about the world. And then I have my very last Team GB podcast, hilarious, remember the Olympics, to do tomorrow. And then we're in the thick of the Paralympics come the weekend, and I've got those podcasts to start shortly. Podcast, that is my life. Anyway, I'm going for a walk because the weather's been terrible the last couple of days, but today it's okay and it's pleasant walking conditions, so that's what I'm off to do before I have to pick up Amelia from nursery. It's good to clear your head now and again. And this is my way of doing that. Here is Cambridge Cottage, home from home. currently sort of progressing things about moving at the moment, trying to get some viewings in. Do you know, the strange thing is, if we move to the remotest part of the Surrey Hills, in the middle of nowhere, down a lane, under a ridge, we would still have better reception for phones than we do in Kew. It is so frustrating, mobile phone wise, around here. And it's because the residents won't allow any masts being put up anywhere. It's just insane and so unhelpful. But anyway, there we go. Good morning. I'm just having my breakfast. I've just started to, this is the problem. I sit down, I start fiddling with podcasts, and then I forgot to eat. So I'm having my breakfast, and it occurs to me today's quite a momentous occasion in our household, because Crystal has gone to work in the office, and therefore I am working on my own at home because Amelia's at nursery. And that is the first time this has happened in 2 years, which is completely insane in my mind. But it's the first time Crystal's gone for a work day in the office since she broke up from maternity leave. Then there was a little pandemic-y thing you might have heard of. And yeah, it's just bonkers. Like, I haven't experienced this in such a long time. And it's quite nice, if I'm honest. It's just very peaceful and calm. I'm sure I'll be bored senseless by lunch, but yes, this is how it used to be. And I'd forgotten. And yeah, I have to think of ways of entertaining myself in between, obviously, you know, doing the things that people pay me to do. But very, very unusual feeling in modern times. Another thing that's completely unrelated, that's just occurred to me because of the work I'm doing for Team GB, the last episode from the Olympic podcast, is that because the Olympics was delayed by a year, the Winter Olympics actually starts in 6 months. I mean, we haven't even started the Paralympic Games for Tokyo, but the Winter Olympics starts 24 weeks, I think, 24 weeks time, which is just over 6 months in Beijing. Which is nuts, because usually the gap between the Olympics and the Winter Olympics is, you know, pretty much 2 years. So that's pretty insane as well. So there's a couple of things to occupy your mind on this Thursday morning.